offense of the Orioles were too tough to tame for right-hander Chris Archer as Baltimore cruised to a 6-1 win. Last night, Mother Nature took over, and at 7:54 p.m. Eastern Time, the game was postponed due to inclement weather. Today, the Rays and the O's get back to business as Jake Odorizzi goes to the hill in the series finale. In contrast to last night's rainy evening and the postponement of Game 2, clear skies today in Baltimore for the wrap-up game of this series between the Rays and the Baltimore Orioles. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to an afternoon of Rays baseball with Brian Anderson, Dwayne Stats. Great to have you with us. It's going to be a little cool, 44 degrees here, but a beautiful day otherwise to complete what is now a two-game set. Rays love to hit here. A lot of teams do. In fact, the Rays have hit home runs in 19 straight games, as we discussed briefly last night, dating back into last year. In fact, dating all the way back to September on the 20th when they hit that first home run to start this stretch against this Baltimore ball club.
Well, listen, I mean, this is a very powerful lineup for the Rays. I mean, more powerful even this year. A lot of the streak happened last year, but so far this year they've been banging out home runs, and you get the feeling that these kind of streaks can continue and that there will be a lot of them just because of the depth of the power of the Rays lineup. You mentioned the 19 consecutive games of the home run. They've homered in Camden Yards in 7 straight games, and that dates back to 2014. So you've got a chance to see this continue because, like I said, you go right through that lineup from basically top to bottom, and every guy is capable of knocking the ball out of the yard. These are cozy confines. It could continue.
Including Evan Longoria, who loves to hit here, hit a home run his first time up in the first game of this series the other night. Jake Odorizzi on the hill for the Rays, making his second start. Vance Worley will do the pitching for the Baltimore Orioles. Rays and the Orioles moments away, back with the first pitch after this. We welcome you back to Camden Yards, Oriole Park in Baltimore. The Rays and the Orioles square off this afternoon. Rays after their third win of this young season. Here is the starting lineup presented by your Southern Ford dealers. Logan Forsythe leads it off at second, followed by the DH Logan Morrison, with Evan Longoria hitting third. Corey Dickerson in left field hits cleanup. Steve Pearce, the former Oriole, at first. Brad Miller hits sixth at short, followed by Steven Souza Jr., Kevin Kiermaier, and Kurt Casale.
And this Rays lineup will be getting their first look at the Orioles starter, right-hander Vance Worley. See what he did last year with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Works primarily with the fastball and the slider, trying to get that sink slider combination.
So the 28-year-old right-hander set to go to work, and here is Logan Forsythe to face him. First pitch of this game is a ball. So we are underway. That first pitch presented by Pinch-A-Penny. 44 degrees as we start play. It's fouled back 1-1. Forecast says that it will not hit 50 today in Baltimore, but a big step forward in the weather department today versus last night.
Oh, what a difference. First of all, the sun. I mean, nice to see that guy.
Ground ball, and right there is Scope positioned on the shortstop side of second to take care of Forsythe.
Now let's take a look at that Baltimore Oriole defense and see how it's going to line up here this afternoon. Brought to you by Gold and Diamond Source. In the outfield left to right, we have Hyun-Soo Kim, Joey Rickard, and Mark Trumbo. Across the infield third to first, Manny Machado, J.J. Hardy, Jonathan Scope, and Chris Davis with Matt Wieters behind the plate.
Well, here's Logan Morrison, the only hitter in the Rays lineup to have faced Worley before. He is 1 for 5 against him and has drawn a walk. And there's a strike. Worley originally up with the Philadelphia Phillies, and a brief time with the Twins, and then Pittsburgh, and now here in Baltimore. 0-2.
When you think what happened to this Baltimore Orioles staff, you know, it looked to be set coming into spring training, but Miguel Gonzalez ends up getting released. Kevin Gausman is on the disabled list right now, so that opened up 2 spots for Vance Worley to make the start today, and of course Mike Wright, who was supposed to go last night.
Worley with a jump on Morrison. Shot foul the other way. Worley last worked in an exhibition game, interestingly, against the Phillies on the 1st of April, and they battled rain in that one. He got 2 innings in there, so it'll be interesting to see how far Buck Showalter can go with him today. He strikes out Morrison. 2 gone. The Rays and the Orioles hopeful of getting the game in last night. Turned out to be a tough night for the ground crew here. They covered the infield and then uncovered it just as they had hoped to begin play. It started raining hard again, and shortly thereafter the game postponed. Here's Longoria hitting one a long way, but well foul. Strike 1. And a tough night for Drew Smiley, who had warmed up and was all set to pitch. Made his way in from the bullpen when things really started to go south in the weather department. Liner into left. Kim is there and makes the catch. And the Rays are up and down 1-2-3. Bottom of the first coming up from Baltimore. No score. in to hit. Take a look at the Orioles lineup presented by your Southern Ford dealers. Joey Rickard will lead it off, followed by Manny Machado back at third and up in the number 2 spot in front of Chris Davis. Mark Trumbull, Matt Wieters, and Pedro Alvarez the DH. J.J. Hardy is in the lineup, hitting 7th. Jonathan Schoop 8th, and Young Soo Kim is in left. He's batting 9th.
Jake Odorizzi making his 2nd start of the season. Very solid the first time out against the Blue Jays. 5 2/3 innings, 1 earned run. Struck out 10 in that ball game.
And he starts with a strike called here on the fastball. Rickard is 7 for 15 to start his big league career. And Odorizzi quickly ahead of him, 0-2.
Two tremendous pitches. You know, Joey Rickard wants to get a look at Jake Odorizzi, see the release point, the ball coming out of the hand, and you get the jump with 2 prime pitches.
And a base hit off the 0-2 toward the line. Sends a junior over to pick it up. And Rickard, who is red hot, puts his average back to 500.
I mean, what can you do? Jake Odorizzi made a couple of nice pitches to get ahead. He goes right back to that area. This one trying to get just off the plate, and it was. The only thing that gave Rickard a chance was there was a little bit of elevation to that fastball. And when it's elevated, you're obviously going to have more coverage with the swing. You just kind of reach straight out, and he went right with it. And that is the sure sign of a guy that is red hot. And Dwayne, he's been red hot since day 1 of spring training. I mean, this guy has been raking since mid-February.
Well, he finished his minor league run last year red hot. We talked about it the other night. 3 different levels, and he was hotter with each move. There's a base hit up the middle. Machado is aboard, rolling it through the infield, and Rickard stops at second. The higher he went for Rickard, the better he hit. A ball, AA, AAA, and now the major leagues.
Boy, you talk about splitting the difference right there. Frustrating, because that's tantalizing for a pitcher. The ball off the bat, you're thinking, I got a chance for a double play here and get out of this. And instead it sneaks its way into center field, and 2 aboard in a hurry.
And he faces Chris Davis. Davis, 2 home runs already this year, coming off 47 last year. Davis hit the first pitch he saw here Friday night out to center field off Chris Archer. Takes the pitch down.
This is the kind of power that this guy has. If you let him get extended, and especially if the ball's down just a little bit, where he likes that ball down and out over the plate, and he can go out from left field all the way around to right field. And work yourself into a spot here too. 2-0, 2 runners aboard. You'd love to get a ground ball here, but you've got fly ball pitcher, fly ball hitter.
Yeah, the 13 at bats he has against Odorizzi's hit 3 home runs and has struck out 6 times. That pretty much sums up the way he does business. 2-1.
You'll take that as a strike. That's where Chris Davis likes the ball. Bottom of the strike zone. Whether it's close to him or whether he can get extended out over the plate, that's his juice zone. So you get that strike there, that's the key, and that's where Jake has gotten his strikeouts. If you're able to get ahead of him, you can elevate that fastball close to him and tie him up, and you got to get ahead.
It stayed away, and it's 3-1. Into center. Kiermaier will come in for this one. 1 away.
Let's take a quick look at that Rays defense and see how that's going to line up here behind Jake this beautiful Sunday afternoon. Brought to you by Gold and Diamond Source in the outfield left to right. We have Corey Dickerson, Kevin Kiermaier, and Steven Souza Jr. And across the infield third to first, Evan Longoria, Brad Miller, Logan Forsythe, and Steve Pearce with Kurt Casale behind the plate. Well, that was a heck of a pitch there, too, by Jake. A 3-1 changeup that got Chris Davis out in front. Take all the sting out of that swing.
Now Mark Trumbo. It's a strike. Trumbo off to a good start in terms of average here. 7 of 15. No extra base hits yet, and they are looking for that part of his game to add to their lineup. Trumbo with good power. 2. His big years, Trumbo in Anaheim, hit 34 home runs with the Angels and drove in 100 in 2013. The year before, he had 32 home runs and drove in 95.
This Baltimore lineup, a lot of home runs. I mean, that's how this lineup is built around the long ball, but a lot of strikeouts too. And then you add Mark Trumbo and Pedro Alvarez, and that's the trade-off. You're going to get power, you're going to get a lot of strikeouts too. They don't seem to mind.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, they have the ballpark. Really have lived and died with their power here, their ability to score runs. We mentioned it the other night, even after losing Nelson Cruz and Nick Markakis, last year's team still scored more runs than the year before with those 2 hitters.
Well, when you take a peek around the dimensions, you know, 333 down the left field line, okay. But then out to the gap in left center, just 364. And it may not even be that far. That's your power gap, and just 364 around to 318 down the right field line.
Two and two. Rizzi coming off Tuesday's start against the Toronto Blue Jays. And he checked in time. The count is full. Boy, if you're going to pitch in the American League East, you're going to pitch against some lineups that will score runs, and they'll do it with power.
You've got to execute pitches, and Jake Odorizzi here, after those 2 quick singles to start this game off, has become very deliberate on the mound, taking a lot of time in between pitches. We've seen a couple of step-offs. I mean, he really is slowing this game down, and that's part of the game plan. You don't want to get this Baltimore lineup in good rhythm up there at the plate.
Well, one thing the Rays have done through the first 5 games, they've played a lot of catch-up already, and they'd like to turn that around. Coming out of the Toronto series, winning 2 and losing 2, but they only held the lead essentially in parts of a couple innings. Fortunately, twice at the end of the game.
Yeah, right. They picked the right innings to lead it. Thank goodness.
So another full count pitch to be made. And he got it. Went up with the fastball and strikes him out.
Well, what led to that pitch being that effective in that spot? all the off speed. He really did a nice job throughout that at bat. When he got ahead of Trumbo, was slowing him down with the breaking ball, with the changeup, and then all of a sudden you pop the fastball up in the zone and he just can't catch up to it.
2 outs with 2 men on. The hitter is Matt Wieters. Wieters out in front, swinging over that pitch for a strike. He tries it again. Now back to second. Oh, safe the call. Rays thought they may have had Rickard back there.
Jake Odorizzi's been keeping his eye on Rickard back there at second base. And here they try to backdoor him. Just able to get the hand in before the tag. I mean, just barely. Nice snap throw down there by Casale. That's close.
Ball, 2 strikes. A couple of change-ups to start Wieters, and then the fastball up.
That's what plays for Jake Odorizzi. You know, we talk every start, every time he's out there, we talk about how he utilizes the whole strike zone, but that's the game plan. The changeup, you're going to throw it, you want it down, tailing off the plate, fastball up. They try to get a chase too. You know, that's how he got ahead of him, because this is an aggressive lineup across the board. They want fastballs and they want to go to banging, and so he gives them 2 changeups to jump out ahead 0-2. And Wieters here able to work it back to even.
And even Wieters, who at times appears to be a patient hitter up there, but left-handed pulls the ball a lot more, so that changeup as a result, good pitch for him if you're facing him. Pop to the left side. And Longoria takes care of that. 2 men on, 2 men left that way. We go to the second inning, no score. Rays baseball on Fox Sports Sun is brought to you by Ram Trucks, Guts, Glory, Ram. By your local Toyota dealers. Let's go places. By Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. And by Kubota. For more information, go to FloridaKubotaDealers.com. Back at Camden Yards, Corey Dickerson leads off for the Rays in the top of the second inning. Takes the pitch from Vance Worley. It's upstairs. Dickerson hitting cleanup. All 3 of his hits have gone for extra bases, 2 home runs and a double. Two and 0. Steve Pearce will be next, and then Brad Miller. Base hit back into center field. The Rays will get their first base runner. Dickerson makes the turn and hangs on. And that will get the former Baltimore Orioles, Steve Pearce. He gets a nice hand. Our Buick GMC big matchup here at Camden Yards. 25 career home runs in 129 games.
Yeah, a fan favorite, a guy who plays the game the right way. You can count on him. Very versatile. You know, we throw his name a lot out at first base, but he played some second base for Buck Showalter, third base, the outfield, corner outfield positions.
And Pearce takes a pitch wide. Buck Showalter, talking about him the other night, was almost wistful in his reflections of Pearce, referencing him as a winning type ball player, and you always knew what you were going to get from him. Came prepared all the time.
You just mentioned the characteristics that Buck Showalter wants in one of his players. I mean, those are the kind. This is the. I mean, if he could script the player, I mean, if he could just, you know. Steve Pearce is his kind of guy for those reasons. He wants guys, and I think all managers do. They want guys that you know what he's going to bring. Doesn't mean he's going to go 4 for 4 every night, but you know he's going to be prepared. You know he's going to give great effort, and he's going to be ready to go to answer the bell.
1-2. A little tap third base side from Machado, who gloves and throws, and Pearce hustling down the line, made it close. It is out third to first.
Well, I thought he had a chance because off the bat, you're right, that ball was not hit that hard at all. Machado charging, and even the throw kind of floated over to first base. Made that play pretty close. You see it right here. Having to come deep, charge, glove, then the transfer, and get him by half a step.
The timing in infielders' heads, really amazing.
Isn't it really is. It really is amazing how many plays where you just field, you know how much time you have, and it ends up being that close.
Brad Miller takes it down.
It's you know what, you liken it to like a quarterback in the pocket. You've got that internal clock going, okay, I've been back here too long. Someone's got to be closing in on me. And that's the same thing with infielders. This is taking me a while to get to this ball. I'm going to have to barehand it and fire it.
Miller fouls it back at the dugout, third base side, 1-1. Dickerson at second. So the Rays with their first scoring opportunity. Miller takes a strike. Fastball 89, 90.
You can see when Worley keeps that pitch down in the zone, it has a little late life to it. You can see why he's able to get ground balls. He needs to pitch to contact. Doesn't have a big swing and miss percentage. So he wants guys to put the ball in play, preferably off the barrel or not on the barrel of the bat. Try to miss that barrel.
And he strikes out Miller. So a big strikeout with a man at second base. 2 gone.
Yeah, I mean, he does get the swing and a miss there from Brad Miller, and that pitch didn't look to have a ton of break to it. It'll be interesting to see this Rays lineup second time through. That just kind of spinning in there, a little depth to it, but that's a pitch that Brad Miller gets again. He may launch.
Lou Steven Souza Jr. Bounce foul. One thing about Worley There's a little deception, and you watch him deliver really across his body. Right-handed hitter, Souza up there, and you'll see that front foot, that left foot, where it lands, and then out from back of that comes his body across that delivery.
You try to create a little bit of deception. If you get out in front, it'll give you a little bit of sink on that fastball, and then, you know, that's his game, sinker slider. The main two.
Worley out of Sacramento High School, McClatchy High School out there in Sacramento. And he strikes out Souza, got it reaching for that one. Rays do not score.
Jake Odorizzi coming back out for the second inning. He did some nifty work in that first inning. 2 singles to lead it off. Then on a 3-1 count, he goes change up to Chris Davis, gets a soft fly to center, climbs the ladder in a full count to Mark Trumbo. And then right here, Matt Wieters, he goes right up to the shoulders, gets the little soft pop up to Evan Longoria. That was a tremendous job by Jake Odorizzi getting out of a potential tough spot. First and second, 3-1 count.
Pedro Alvarez. First pitch is a strike. Alvarez accumulating those numbers with Pittsburgh. 1-1. Rodriguez, the designated hitter for the Orioles. Alvarez. Short right, but what a pickup out of the shift. And out the call at first. Pierce had the ball. It popped away from him. And the Orioles are they're going to ask Greg Gibson to talk with Dana DeMuth about that, because it was a great stop by Forsythe, but an off-balance throw. Pierce had to stretch, got his mid on it, but could not hold it. And Alvarez is aboard.
Well, they had the shift on for Alvarez. Logan Forsythe out there in shallow right field right here. He makes a heck of a play to get to this ball, because this ball was blistered. I mean, hit very hard. And then throw, a little off balance. And you see the stretch there by Steve Pierce. He sold it well. He's trying to stay on the bag and make that play, and it was able to squirt out from that first baseman's glove. And Alvarez will be at first.
So a base hit. Leadoff man on for the second straight inning. J.J. Hardy takes a big cut and a miss. Strike one. after this one. One on with one out. Hardy popping out to short. And Jonathan Schoop. Schoop 4 for 13, coming off a good year at the plate. The left side, that's going to be fair. Headed toward the corner. Now it pops away from Dickerson. Alvarez is going to be waved around. The throw to the plate, and he is safe. The call there.
Well, and Kevin Cash just popped out of the dugout because it was a bang-bang play at the plate. And so we'll see if he was able to sneak that left hand in there. Jonathan Schoop, first ball swinging down into the corner. The reason that was even a chance for Alvarez to score is because Corey Dickerson out in left field tried to make a sliding stop of that ball, and it bounded away from him. And that's where the play got kicked into gear. And Tom Foley's still on the phone back upstairs. You see Dickerson right there. The ball gets away. Then they start waving Alvarez, and that left hand looks like it snuck in and was able to tip the back of that plate right there. Yes, he just got the point of home plate.
And the Orioles take the early lead. Alvarez scores on the double into the corner by Schoop. So Schoop picks up his third double of the year. Here's Kemp, the left fielder. Swinging at the first pitch and fouls it back. Kemp coming over from Korea. 27 years old. He struggled in the spring, and it appeared that he was not going to make this team.
Yeah, that was an interesting end of the spring training for the Orioles.
Yeah, kind of a sudden turnaround on Kemp. He's making his first major league plate appearance here.
Well, and I think they tried to, talk to him and convince him to go down to the minor leagues, and he said, no, I'm going to stay right here in the big leagues.
Yeah, his approach was, I'm not starting and I'm not departing. And a little tapper third base side, backhanded by Odorizzi as he knocks it down. Over to third goes Schoop. And Kim has an infield hit.
You don't expect that ball to be hit where it was. That ball's up and away, and Kim just kind of slaps it towards third. And you see Evan Longoria, it's going to be a tough play for him. Even tougher for Jake Odorizzi. That ball right off the heel of the glove.
So first and third, an infield hit for Kemp. Joey Rickard. 5 hits now for the Orioles, first time through. Sally blocks this one to keep Kim at first. Schoop down at third.
That's the part of the game that Kurt Casale really focused and worked on so hard in spring training. That was a tough block right there, and a changeup that was down and in.
Rizzi found himself in trouble in the first when the first 2 men reached. Managed to get out of that one. And has been touched for a run in the second. One and one.
we're seeing it again here in the second inning. And obviously, early inning trouble once again, but Jake Odorizzi really slowing the game down. I don't remember him being this deliberate before. I mean, always a little bit with runners on base, but really slowing the game down here this afternoon.
One.
And look where all three pitches have been to Rickard. Whether they've been fastball or changeup, they've all been in. You remember the first at bat, it was fastball away, fastball away, fastball away. He lined it into right field for a base hit. So now everything close to it.
Fly ball, center field. Kiermaier makes the catch. The tag at third. Scope will score. 2-0 Baltimore. Rickard driving in his third run of the year.
Just trying to get the ball into the outfield. That's what Rickard was trying to do, and you've got a fly ball pitcher on the mound. So it sits up well, and if you could be disciplined at the plate, you'd be able to loft that fly ball, and that's what he did.
So 2 outs with a runner at first, and Manny Machado steps in. In on him as he checks and fouls it. Strike one. Two. One ball, 2 strikes. Shot deep into left center. Dickerson to the wall. Gone. Home run for Machado. One swing of the bat and the Orioles open a 4-run lead on the 2-run blast by Machado.
The Orioles putting together quite an inning here. Usually it's all the long ball. We're able to score a couple of runs. Single, double, sacrifice fly, but then it will look like a cut fastball that just stayed out over the heart of the plate. I mean, that was one of those front door cutters that Jake was trying to go with. That one ended up middle, and Manny Machado saw it well.
Here's Davis. Taps it foul. Strike one. Ball and a strike. So Machado, with 35 home runs last year, has 3 already this year. One ball, 2 strikes. It was his second career home run off Odorizzi.
That's a pitch that we saw Jake bring out in his first start, that little front door cutter, and it's designed right-handed pitcher, right-handed hitter. You start it off the plate in and cut it to the inside corner. The risk is you cut it to the middle of the plate.
So Davis out on strikes. But it's a 4-run second inning for the Orioles, capped by Manny Machado's 2-run home run. Through 2, 4-0 Baltimore. Leads it off for the Rays in the 3rd against Vance Worley. Kiermaier starts the day at 267. Kurt Casale next, and then Logan Forsythe. Well, the Orioles start the day 4-0. The only unbeaten team in the major leagues right now.
And the interesting thing for the Baltimore Orioles, and obviously it's very early in the season, but they're being led by their pitching staff. I mean, the starters, an ERA of under 1.5 as a team.
And Vance Worley is getting an opportunity to pitch and start a game here for the Orioles. And just a couple innings his last time out against the Phillies, and he picks up a strikeout, his 4th. This one a called 3rd strike. The other 3 had been swinging strikes.
Well, this is that front door sinker. That's why the sinker slider combo works so well. You throw the slider down and in, and then off of that pitch you come with the sinker. The hitter thinks that that pitch is off the plate, gives up on it. Right back over.
Kurt Casale lines one into left. Jumping on that first pitch. So the Rays have their 2nd hit.
And Vance Worley not overpowering with his stuff, and if he's going to throw the breaking ball, he's going to have to be precise with it. Can't just roll some breaking balls in there for strikes, so you're going to see the Rays hitters, especially now the 2nd time through, the guys that have seen him, try to jump on that pitch.
Now the top of the order, Logan Forsythe sends a fly ball into left. Kim came in, cutting back to his left now, and makes the catch. 2 gone.
That late sinking action on that fastball got in just enough. I think Logan Forsythe thought that he had a good bead and a good swing on that pitch, but the late movement at the end took it down to the label and became a soft fly to left.
Logan Morrison, who struck out his first time. So all of these Rays hitters seeing Worley for the first time, with the exception of Morrison. A ball, no strikes. Well, the other thing about Worley, he doesn't waste any time, in contrast to the pace set by Odorizzi today. It's been more deliberate. Worley gets the ball and is ready to pitch again, and if you're going to slow him down, you have to step out, as Morrison is doing here.
Right. That's exactly right. You want to get that pitcher out of his rhythm. Don't want him to set the tone.
Two now.
Jake Odorizzi has to remember, we know that he can get on a good run, but this is a small ballpark. 4 runs, not a big deal here. Just keep going out there, making pitches, throwing up zeros, and give your offense a chance to chip away.
Runner at first, 2 gone. We'll take the count to 2-2. Just a little bit of that one to stay alive. Orioles claiming Worley from the Pittsburgh Pirates off waivers. Chopper, that's a foul ball. He's a starter and a reliever for Pittsburgh. Went to the minor leagues. Making his first appearance of the new season, starting this game for the Orioles.
He kind of caught in no man's land. You know, when you think about Vance Worley, he does have starting experience. So you think about that end of it, but then also his repertoire, the sinker, the slider, that plays better coming out of the bullpen, although it's not overpowering. That's probably why you see him bouncing back and forth.
And a full count work by Morrison now. This is the first time any Rays hitter has had a full count. First hitter to have a 3-ball count on Worley, so he's been ahead most of the time, the first time through the order. Morrison strikes out. Rays leave a man. We go to the bottom of the 3rd. It's 4-0 Baltimore. Orioles are coming in to hit in the bottom of the third. From $2 kids to $2 hot dogs, senior special to student rush. The Rays have something for everyone each night of the week. So check out the great specials at RaysBaseball.com/specials or call 888-FAN-RAYS now. Mark Trumbo. First pitch is a strike at the knees. Trumbo, Wieters, and Alvarez due up against Odorizzi. The Orioles put a 4 spot up in the second inning. Two and one.
Well, it's Dwayne. It's exactly what you talked about earlier in this telecast. A recurring refrain, playing from behind.
Well, there are at least a couple of things that you're concerned about there, and one is just the psychology of the thing. You know, you get tired playing catch up all the time. Yeah. And then the other thing, you like to get out in front, you might be a little more aggressive then as well. There's a whole different approach if you're playing with a lead.
Well, you're right about that, especially on the base paths. When the Rays have the lead, they're much more apt to be aggressive on the bases, try to extend that lead. When you're playing from behind,
takes a 3-2 pitch into right, and Trumbo has a base hit.
Well, pitches that have been up and out over the plate have been hit hard by this Oriole lineup here today. Jake Odorizzi, you know, working deeper into this count. These guys have seen a lot of pitches, and they're not missing many mistakes.
Now for the third straight inning, they have the leadoff hitter on base.
When that makes it tough to pitch to, you immediately go into the stretch.
1-0. You know, that pitch count for Odorizzi, more than 20 pitches in each of the first 2 innings. Last year averaged just a little over 16 pitches per inning.
And that was a big drop from the previous season, and that's what allowed him really to pitch deeper into games, averaged over 6 innings a start.
So here he is at 51 pitches now with nobody out in the third. One ball, 2 strikes. Miller takes care of that to Longoria. The Rays are going to get a double play. That low liner on one hop, and Miller starts the double play.
Well, you play this shift for a reason. It's just your typical 6-5-3 double play, as you see right there. Brad Miller way up the middle. Matt Wieters right to him. And then Evan Longoria is going to cover. They needed that.
It erases that leadoff single. Bases empty, 2 outs. And Pedro Alvarez takes that slow breaking ball in there for a strike. That one dropped in there at 68 miles per hour.
Yeah, at this point, you really empty the arsenal. You're trying anything you can to put up zeros and give your team a chance. And this team locked in right now offensively. Had a big night the other night, or at least a big 5th inning in the early going. Able to solve Jake Odorizzi, so you got to change up the game plan.
Fastball in on him. Fouls it, and the count is still a ball and 2 strikes. Just a little piece of that one. And that's a foul ball, so the count remains 1-2.
When you look at Fox Tracks, when that pops back up, look at where all those pitches are that Jake Odorizzi threw. I mean, he is all over the place. And that's what makes him effective. Just doesn't stay and hang out in one location too long.
And a foul ball. Trying a 1-2 curveball there. Rizzi coming off the double-digit strikeout performance against the Blue Jays on Tuesday. Pop to the left side, and that's going to carry into the stands. Jake 5 2/3 made 111 pitches against Toronto with 10 strikeouts and a couple walks. Touched for 2 runs, 1 earned. But 111 pitches for him in his first outing. Only 2 short of his all-time single-game career high in pitches, 113. With the shift again, that's Miller, the shortstop, on the right side. So the Orioles do not score, and Evan Longoria will open the 4th inning with a score 4-0. Rays down by 4 headed into the 4th inning. This week only, T-Mobile customers can get a free season-long subscription to MLB.TV Premium. Go to T-Mobile.com/MLB to sign up now and catch every moment on America's fastest-growing LTE network. Evan Longoria leading off. It's after the second pitch and skies it foul up the right side. Out of play, and he's down in the count. Facing Vance Worley, 0-2. Evan line to left his first time. Trying to work his way back in the count. It's 1-2. Throws it deep short. Hardy up with it. Throw to first. Wow. Just in time. So Hardy been on the shelf, and they waited a long time to see whether he could play today or not. He throws out Longoria. Take a look at this.
Back in the hole. He needed to get everything he could on that throw. That close. That close. I mean, Longoria's foot coming down on top of that bag as the ball into the glove of Davis.
One out, base is empty, and here's Corey Dickerson. Dickerson single in the second. One. Pulled foul. 1-2 now. Even the count at 2-2.
I wonder how Corey Dickerson made out last night. At the beginning of the pregame show, he stopped by to talk to Todd and I, and to just kind of let everybody know that he had icy hot, put icy hot all over himself, getting ready for the game. Said we better play. Well, didn't end up playing. That could have been a fun shower.
There's a shot back into deep center field, and he's going to hit this one out of here. Corey Dickerson's third home run of the year. Hits it into the seats at center, and the Rays are on the board.
Well, they keep that streak going. That's 20 consecutive games for the team, 8 straight games here at Camden Yards, and that was an absolute missile by Corey Dickerson. Has the count in his favor. Not an easy ball to elevate, working its way down in the zone, down around the knees, but that shows you the kind of power that he has to take a ball that far down in the zone and to rifle it out to center field.
The Rays going to run back as Pierce swings through this one. Strike. Well, there you go. As you mentioned, BA, 20 consecutive games now. The Rays have hit a home run, a franchise record. Fly ball short center. Rickard coming in and makes the catch. So that goes back to the 20th of September last year against Baltimore, and they add on to that streak here against the Orioles today on the Corey Dickerson home run.
Now, when you look at this lineup, not only can you envision this streak continuing, but even when it's broken, and it will be at some point, they'll pick right back up. I mean, you look right down through the names. I mean, from Forsythe to Casale, you know, there are guys that can pop the ball out of the ballpark 1 through 9, and so there's just a depth of home run potential.
Brad Miller ahead in the count, 2-0. Three balls, no strikes. Really a little over 50 pitches, working in the fourth.
There's your 3-0 obligatory strike call, and a ball that wasn't even close.
And there's ball 4. Miller is aboard. Rays get a base runner with 2 outs. And here's the thing about this lineup now. Rays got down 4-0. Dickerson hits a home run. You get a walk. Now here's Souza. One swing of the bat could make it a one-run ball game again.
Yeah, and he's red hot early in the season. Enjoys hitting here at Camden Yards. You see the numbers.
Toyota keys to the success, and he has had a great deal of success right here. Lines that one into right center field. Miller makes the turn. He's going to hang on in second. But Souza with a base hit. First and second for Kevin Kiermaier.
A great example showing Steven Souza Jr. and how locked in he is. Boy, watch him just follow this pitch down in the zone, stay inside the ball, and then shoot that ball out into right center field. When you see a hitter be that balanced at the plate, taking the ball the other way, you know that he is seeing things very well. Combine that with the fact that when the ball jumps off his bat, it really jumps, and then you get that power potential.
There's ball one to Kiermaier. Kevin called out on strikes his first time. So the Rays have the potential tying run at the plate. Kiermaier is ahead 2-0. It's popped up on the left side. Hardy with the glasses down makes the catch. The Rays get a run, lead 2. They're on the board courtesy of the Corey Dickerson home run. Another look at that as we go to break. It's 4-1 Baltimore. Fourth, hey, here's your chance to get a steal, Rays fans. Today's steal of the day features an exclusive Rays shirt with any ticket purchase to the game Friday, April 15th against the White Sox. Available today only. Visit RaysBaseball.com/steal now or call 888-FAN-RAYS for more information. Rays up. J.J. Hardy. And he takes a look at the first pitch for a strike. Hardy popped out his first time. Pitch is up 1-1. He missed considerable time last year with a left shoulder injury. And from time to time has had some back issues. The Orioles talked about their shortstop having a calf problem. Fly ball right center, and that's caught by Souza Jr. out there for the first out. And Hardy in the lineup today.
And I think that shoulder injury last year, and I think J.J. Hardy feels the same way, really sapped his power. You know, he had a 3-year stretch here with the Orioles where he hit 77 home runs, more home runs than any other shortstop in that time frame. But really, the power was lost last year. But when you combine back issues, bad shoulder, you would expect that. He says it's feeling good this year. We'll see.
Jonathan Schoop looks at a strike. Schoop doubled in a run and scored his first time. Uh, 2-1. This one foul. Schoop only 24 years old. He can be very aggressive up there, but does hit the ball in the air a lot. And for this ballpark, that's not a bad thing. You know, with those home runs he hit last year, 15, he had 16 the year before. And his strikeout totals, which were a bit high in 14, came down a little bit last year. So you get the idea that here's a hitter who may swing and miss a few times, but he's got some pop in his bat. And for a middle infielder, that could be special to get a guy who can hit some home runs out of that second base spot, out on strikes this time.
I think the Baltimore Orioles, they're trying to cram power into every position on the field. Because you're right, second baseman, middle infield, you think about a healthy J.J. Hardy and Jonathan Schoop, going to give you some pop, and then you just move out from there. And that's what, you know, talent evaluators, they want hitters that hit the ball in the air. Good line drive percentages, fly ball percentages to keep the ball off the ground. Tougher to defend. And so Baltimore has stacked their lineup with those types of guys, and with the cozy confines here at Camden Yards, well, it adds up to big home run totals.
Kim into right. The Rays have the shift on, and Forsythe throws him out. A 1-2-3 fourth. Good quick inning for Odorizzi. Rays and the Orioles wrapping up their series, a two-gamer as it turns out. And here is Kurt Casale leading off against Vance Morley. This pitch. Ball, no strikes. Worley through the first 3 innings didn't take much time at all. 38 pitches. The Rays got to him for a run and a couple of runners in the 4th. And here's Scope from the outfield getting Casale. He was shaded on that shortstop side of the bag and throws him out. Today's Geico great moment on this date in 2008. It was Edwin Jackson pitching 8 scoreless innings. And against the Seattle Mariners, Harry Kinski hit one out, and the Rays beat the Mariners 7-0. Our Geico great moment. It's Logan Forsythe. Takes a pitch high. Skips it to the backstop. 2-0. One. Worley, as we mentioned, pitched for the Phillies. He was drafted out of high school by the Phillies and decided not to sign. There's a shot up the middle. And then Worley ducking on a hard hit base hit through the middle of the infield and on into center field for Forsythe. The Rays have a base runner. Worley went to Cal State Long Beach. He's trying to survive that one. I mentioned earlier, went to McClatchy High School in Sacramento. That also produced Larry Boa. Went to Long Beach State. The Phillies drafted him again.
It's a baseball factory, Dwayne, leading right to Philadelphia.
And beyond, apparently.
Yeah. Oh, he's throwing the ball well here today, working out in front of the Rays hitters, being efficient with his pitches. Maybe the 3rd time through is the charm. That pitch has given Logan Morrison fits all day. That breaking ball that he starts on the plate, keeps it on the plate, but takes it below the zone. And Logan has been over the top of that all afternoon.
It's a ball and 2 strikes to Morrison.
What you're hoping for here is the fact that Logan Morrison has seen so many of them that there's some pitch recognition now. If that ball comes out of the hand around the thighs, let it go. It's going to drop below. He hangs it, go ahead, take a rip.
And it's taken this time by Morrison for ball 2. Full count. 1 on, 1 out, a 3-2 count to Morrison. The Rays back toward the middle part of the order, and you'd like to see Morrison get aboard here. And give Longoria a chance, maybe Dickerson behind him with men on base. Runner takes off, and the pitch is a ground ball fair, played by Davis. So Forsythe breaking, moves up to second.
And what allowed Chris Davis to make this play is the fact that he was holding Logan Forsythe on. So he's already close to the bag, comes off, and it's hit to the glove hand. A step and a half, and he flags it down and touches the base. That may not have been fair. That would have been close, but right over the corner edge of that bag. But that was a heck of a play, made a little easier by the fact that he was already in position.
Well, Evan Longoria is due. Worley's going to get a visit. Brad Brock has just started to loosen in the bullpen. And Dave Wallace, the pitching coach, out to talk with his right-hander Worley and give Brock a little more time in the bullpen as well as he begins to get ready.
Well, I think if Buck Showalter at the beginning of the game, if you would have told him that Vance Worley would give him 5 good innings, he would have taken that. But you're right, this is all designed to get Brock hot and ready to go, because you've got Longoria at the plate now, and behind Evan Longoria you've got Corey Dickerson, who homered his last time up and is seeing the ball well out of Worley's hand.
Yeah, the other thing about having Brock out there in the bullpen, sending Wallace to the mound, they're tightening up on the pitching coach visits to the mound. So what does Dave Wallace do? He engages Dana DeMuth in a little conversation, and they took the circuitous walk back toward the dugout. Well, just a friendly conversation.
Gamesmanship.
1-0 the count to Longoria. Hot shot, that's through the left side. Forsythe going to be waved around. Kim's throws not in time, and the Rays are on the board again. Longoria drives in a run, and that's going to make it a 4-2 ball game.
Nice job by Evan to go get a pitch that was down in the zone. That was a slider working its way down and away, and he was strong enough to lean out there, actually middle the plate down, but still follows it right down and then gets that ball in between short and third. Boy, chip away, and now Dickerson up there. The potential tying run, who already homered in this ball game.
The Rays got the potential tying run to the plate in the 4th. They do it again in the 5th, and this time it's Corey Dickerson. Fouls it back. Strike 1. Fastball. Here's a look at the home run pitch.
Well, it was not a bad pitch. Boy, does he do a nice job of going down there, fishing it out, and driving it with authority straight to center field.
Dickerson 2 for 2 with a single and a home run. Count is 1-1 now. Ball takes it to 1-2. Well, Dickerson has certainly shown why the Rays had such interest in him. Put him in the middle of this lineup behind Longoria. 3 home runs. Tapper to first, and we're going to get catcher's interference here. Dickerson will be awarded first base on catcher's interference.
Oh, what a break.
Yes. So Longoria moves to second base, and Dickerson will head to first. It'll be an error charged to Wieters. See the mitt reaching out.
Yeah, Matt Wieters, he's trying to reach out and get this pitch that's going to be down there close to the ground, and just as Dickerson is swinging, and it right off the top of that glove, and extends this inning for the Rays.
Give Steve Pearce a chance. Pearce could do some damage here, and he's 0 for 2 so far. Base hit the other way. Longoria will be waved around. He will score in plenty of time to make it 4-3. Dickerson goes to third as Pearce serves that one into right field, and the Rays have cut the deficit to only 1.
Well, they just keep chipping away. I mean, this is familiar territory from the Rays' perspective early in this season, playing from behind, and Now the third time through, they had solved Vance Worley, and he'll be coming out of this game. But a nice job there by Pierce, not trying to pull that pitch. You pull that pitch, or try to, this inning is over. He goes with it, extends the inning, and closes the deficit.
So it's a one-run ball game. Pitching change coming. Baseball on Fox Sports Sun is brought to you by Ram Trucks. Guts, glory, Ram. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by your Southern Chevy dealers. Oriole Park, Camden Yards. It's a one-run ball game. The Rays have Dickerson at third and Pierce at first, with Brad Miller due up against Brad Brock, the right-hander, who last year was very tough against left-handed hitting. Brad Miller looking for his first hit in a Rays uniform, walked in the fourth. And Brock making his fourth appearance of this year.
He's like a third lefty coming out of that bullpen for Buck Showalter. You think about T.J. McFarland, more of a long guy. Zach Britton is your closer. So the numbers that you speak of, Brad Brock gives you that ability to get out lefties in these types of situations.
Left-handed hitters batted only 184 against him last year, with a slugging percentage of just 259. Right-handed hitters had a slugging percentage of 410 against him. So he really was like a right-handed left-hander out of that bullpen.
I like that, right-handed left-hander. Well, look where he starts. He starts on the first base side. A little bit of crossfire.
High fly ball, right field. Trumbo's going to go to the track, and he's going to have room to make the catch. Miller gave it a ride, but just not quite enough. The Rays settled for two. They've closed the gap to one.
It's now 4-3 as we head to the bottom half of the 5th inning. Leading off for the Orioles will be Joey Rickard, led off for them in the bottom half of the 1st as well. You guys have documented Rickard's tale through the Rays minor league system last year. He also said, as I talked to him earlier today, that he really learned a lot playing in the Winter League for Escogido, as he had almost 200 at-bats for them after almost 400 at-bats in the Rays minor league system. And guys, he still is kind of a little awed by the whole situation. Kind of spoke quietly in the clubhouse, didn't want to draw too much attention to himself. But Kurt Casale, who's catching today, who played with him in 2014, said, we knew this guy could hit at a major league level. It's just a matter of him getting a shot. So both Rickard and Tyler Goodell in the big leagues this year as Rule 5 picks from the Rays organization, guys.
Well, he's certainly making that point, getting an opportunity. Had a great spring, has carried that into the early part of the regular season, and taking advantage of an opportunity to play. This one deep into center field. Kiermaier back, not yet to the track, and reaching up to make the catch on that one. One away. Bring up Manny Machado. Machado with a single and a home run. A 2-run home run in the 2nd inning. Strike one.
That was just a cut fastball that cut right to the heart of the plate. Gave the Orioles a 4-0 lead, but very quietly. We'll talk like Joey Rickard quietly in the corner of our booth. Jake Odorizzi's on a nice little roll right here, and he's allowed his offense to get back into this game.
You don't want to disrupt the putt.
Nope.
Liner up the left field side. That ball is just foul. Mike Esterbrook on the call.
I just about put myself in timeout because talking about a roll that he was on, and Manny Machado, oh so close on this line drive.
Odorizzi starting the 3rd time through the order. Again ahead of Machado as he was in the 2nd. Machado hit a 1-2 pitch out. Fouls it to extend the at bat. Two and two.
That was close. You could have gone for the ring up. Nice little breaking ball right down there. The kneecaps on the outside corner.
Liner into center. Kiermaier cuts it off. Going to hold Machado to a base hit. Machado hitting the ball hard again.
Manny Machado, watching him mature as a player, as a hitter, as a fielder. We've seen him earlier in this series, a couple nights ago playing shortstop. Fastball up in the zone. We see so often that Jake Odorizzi, when he slows you down, he can power and pop that fastball by you. Not right there. Machado stays on it right up the middle.
Now, he's a special player without question, defensively and offensively. In front of Chris Davis. Upstairs, 1-0. Davis. There's a fly ball to center and a strikeout so far for the day. Cut. See him pulling open and making that cut, 1-1.
Just got underneath that fastball there. That's a pitch that Chris Davis yearns for. Wants that ball down to the zone, wants to get extension. He got one there and missed it.
Machado back in at first. He started this game with a couple of 20-plus pitch innings, 21 in the first, 22 in the second, and an under 20 with 18 in the third, then a nice nifty 12-pitch fourth. And picks up a strike, gets 1-2. 1 on, 1 out in the fifth inning with this count to Davis and Mark Trumbo on deck.
We've seen a number of those pitches in that spot, off the plate, away to the lefties, be called for a strike. You know, you might want to take note of that and try to take advantage of that part of, well, I can't call it the strike zone, but that part of.
Close there.
Steve Pearson's asking for Kevin Cash to take a look at that. That was close. Oh, he got it.
He got him.
He did. Absolutely, they will take a look at this, and this will certainly be overturned.
There's the.
Uh-oh, phone's not working.
Oh, well. So they'll take a look at this.
There it is.
Right there.
That glove firmly on the back of the elbow.
Well, the reaction of Pierce at first, it appeared that they had a better than even chance of getting him, and then to see the reaction of Pierce over there led you to believe that it was very close, and that replay shows he had slapped that tag on it. So the Rays will have them take a look at this pickoff attempt at first.
You got to remember too that the tag's got to be there. I mean, you've got to guys have to be accurate with the tag, and that was that throw by Jake over to first, quick feet, but the throw was a little bit high, so Steve Pearce had to bring that glove a long way, coming from a right-hander, to get that tag to Machado's arm. That was a great job by him, and done quickly.
And he is out at first base. Odorizzi and Pierce pick off Machado for the second out.
Quick feet, watch Steve Pearce apply the tag. Got to go up and then quickly down. No wasted movement.
A 1-2 to Davis is high. 2-2. Challenge, the call overturned, and there is strike 3 call to Davis to retire the Orioles in the fifth. On to inning 6, it's 4-3 Baltimore. We have a one-run ball game here. The Orioles open the scoring on the Jonathan Scope double in the second inning, scoring Pedro Alvarez. Rickard drove in a run with a fly ball, and then Manny Machado hit a 2-run home run to cap a 4-run second. Corey Dickerson started the Rays back with a home run in the 4th inning. 2 more runs score in the 5th on a base hit by Evan Longoria. And an RBI single by Steve Pearce, scoring Longoria to make it 4-3. We go to the 6th inning. Steven Souza Jr. fouls it right back into the screen. Souza, Kiermaier, and then Casale due up against Brad Brock. 4 2/3 for Worley. The Rays scored all 3 runs off him on 7 hits. Brock came on to get Brad Miller on a long fly ball to right. Souza slices this one into the stands, foul. A ball, 2-strike count. Cut and a miss. Fastball, and Souza Jr. is out on strikes.
Just able to overpower him. 94 miles an hour. Brad Brock, 6 feet 6 inches tall, and he has that little bit of cross fire and the low 3/4 arm angle. And boy, does he create some spin right there, right over the swing.
Here's Kevin Kiermaier looking for his first hit of the day, 0 for 2. Which runs inside. One and one. It's a ball, 2 strikes. First, Davis handles that with a toss. 3-1 on the play with Brock covering, 2 up and 2 down.
Well, that's got to give you a little sense of panic when you're coming off the mound. Tall, lanky, and Kevin Kiermaier, a ground ball to the right side, and you know you've got to beat him to the bag. No easy task. You got to know right away, as soon as he rolls over, you got to go. That was well executed.
Here's Kurt Casale. Pitch to Kurt. This is for ball 1, 1-0. Rasmo Ramirez busy in the Rays bullpen. Two and nothing. Two and one. Two. 2 outs, bases empty. Souza a strikeout. Kiermaier a ground out. We go to Rizzi in the Rays dugout. 5 innings. Touch for a 4-run second inning. It trails right now 4-3. Just under 90 pitches for Jake so far. Casale is out on strike, so 1-2-3-6 for Brock. 4-3 Baltimore. The Rays this week only. T-Mobile customers can get a free season-long subscription to MLB.TV Premium. Go to T-Mobile.com/MLB to sign up now and catch every moment on America's fastest-growing LTE network. 88 pitches for Jake Odorizzi. Mark Trumbo leads it off, and he takes the ball. Trumbo 1 out of 2 and a single in the 3rd inning. And to left. Dickerson in front of it to cut it off, holding Trumbo to a leadoff single. He's 2 for 3.
You saw him shoot a ball out into right field. He waits back on this changeup by Jake Odorizzi. Recognized it well. You know, usually guys are out in front just a little bit. And you see right there, there's the split change. Mark Trumbo right on it. You know, he saw that coming out of the hand, saw that tumbling action, and took full advantage.
Now Matt Wieters. Wieters grounded into a double play with the Rays employing the shift back in the 3rd after Trumbo opened the 3rd inning with a base hit. He's opened the 6th with a single. Wieters takes a strike. One and one. Balls and a strike.
Jake trying to get another ball on the ground. The Rays have the shift on Matt Wieters. He's trying to pump that fastball away from him to try to get him to roll over something. He got the line of defense right here.
Tap, they'll get the lead man, throw back to first, not in time. So The Rays cut down Trumbo at second base with Forsythe going to Miller.
Isn't it strange now that every time you get a double play opportunity, you make sure you watch the slide at second base? Did he stay on the base? Did he go past the bag? Was it straight into the bag? Hands were up. I don't think we were allowed to do that either.
Yeah, it's very confusing.
Well, yeah, I mean, you look at the game differently. You watch the game differently. Everybody looks to see, you know, you still making contact with the bag out there at second. Did you go by it?
Well, after the Rays won that game on the first homestand against the Blue Jays, we're hearing a lot of sentiment that, well, maybe they will dispense at some point this season with attempting to make that change at second base. Strike to count to Pedro Alvarez. It's now 1-1.
Stay tuned, I guess. We'll wait and see, like everybody else.
Well, when the commissioner was with us, he talked about when they implement something like that, there always will be immediate issues where they're going to have to iron those out, address those.
Yep.
So I would expect that they've had a number of conversations already about that.
Well, the players have to get used to it. I mean, these guys, their whole career, breaking up a double play came naturally. You slide wide of the bag, you slide through the bag, you do whatever you can to prevent that play from being made. And now all of a sudden you tell them, oh, by the way, you need to have a bona fide slide and you're not allowed to do A, B, C, and D. Well, you know, there's going to be a learning curve for them too.
Three and one, the count on Alvarez. Ground ball. This is now Forsythe going to Longoria. The throw to first is not in time. So Alvarez reaches as Wieters is forced. So that goes 4-5 from Forsythe to Evan.
Well, Jake's doing his part, trying to get this double play turn. Of course, he doesn't need it now, but close.
Hitter's J.J. Hardy. Pitch is a strike. One and one.
One thing that J.J. Hardy did say with that shoulder injury last year, it prevented him from lowering his hands. You'll notice this year he said that his hands are as low as they've ever been, constantly toying with his stance at the plate. He said he could not do that last year because of that left shoulder.
Checks on this pitch. It's now 2-1.
And really, it's not a hand placement that you would teach any young hitter. You're going to a hitting school, you're not going to teach him to have him down that low, but it's something that's worked for J.J. Hardy in the past and able to do it once again.
Back at third, Longoria to second, so they get the force there. A man left on base. We head into the 7th inning. Rays down by a run. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you've come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. Jake Odorizzi giving the Rays 6 innings in this game. And right now the Rays are down 4-3, all of the damage occurring in the 2nd inning. So we go to the 7th. The Rays will face a new pitcher, Michael Gibbons, in the game.
It's been a rocky beginning here for Michael Gibbons. You see a couple of games, 13.5 ERAs, giving up a home run in his limited innings.
First pitch to Logan Forsythe is a ball.
We talked about it coming into the series. Buck Showalter, really, even with Kevin Cash, like a lot of different options coming out of the bullpen as far as styles. And Gibbons, you see that little turn, kind of slings that ball, good velocity. The sinker slider to the righties. He will throw the changeup to the lefties.
Now strike 2-1. Gibbons in limited action last year was good against both righties and lefties. 3-1. Gibbons in the early part of his pro career, an infielder. The count is full, 3-2 on the foul ball.
30 innings last year for the Blue Jays, or excuse me, for the Orioles. 38 strikeouts, just 6 walks. Only gave up 20 hits.
High popper right side, headed toward the stands. How to play it goes. Gibbons pitched at the AA level last year when he got the call. He walks Forsythe. The Rays will put the leadoff man on base. The one thing he did not do a lot of last year once he got to the big leagues is walk people. He had 38 strikeouts and only 6 walks in 30 innings. He has walked Forsythe to begin the inning here.
Yeah, that was an impressive at bat by Logan Forsythe. Seeing a lot of pitches from a tough righty and getting that leadoff man aboard.
Side back in, Logan Morrison up here. He made quite an impression here. Lefties hit only 205 off him in his run with the Orioles last year, and right-handers just 174. Runner goes and the pitch is fouled. The count is 1-1. Gibbons out of Plant High School in Tampa. Hot shot, foul. Moved Greg Gibson out of the way.
That ball was smoked. Greg Gibson, not only do you have to get out of the way, but you have to make the call too.
A 2-strike count. Morrison off to a slow start at the plate, but it's not something that he says bothers him, that he is confident knowing that over the long haul he's going to get his share of hits. and produce in this lineup.
The one thing you know, if you follow Logan Morrison, is he is very streaky, and he is known for that. So when the hits start to fall, they come in bunches. That would be a great start.
Evan Longoria is on deck. The Rays got down 4-0. They've climbed to within a run. Two balls, 2 strikes. Morrison strikes out. Fastball got him. Gibbons gets a big strikeout there.
Well, the swing by Logan Morrison got just a little bit long as he tried to reach out there and get that pitch that was away from him. Right there, right from the side, 93 miles an hour. And he's able to shoot that right above the bat.
Here's Evan Longoria. Takes the ball. Runner goes, a pitch, a cut and a miss, throw down. That's going to be in time. Forsythe caught trying to steal. The Rays lose the base runner.
They had sent Logan Forsythe in that at bat with Logan Morrison, maybe a hit and run, but here they send him straight. Nice job by Matt Wieters on the catch and throw. Boy, he got out of his crouch quickly. Got the throw down there. Got the tag on him.
One and two. It's only. Base is empty, 2 outs, and Longoria is out on strikes to end the inning. Top of the 7th complete. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Gibbons. Bottom of the 7th coming up, 4-3 Baltimore. We welcome you back to Baltimore, Maryland. Oriole Park at Camden Yards in the middle of the 7th inning. It's a 1-run ball game. Manny Machado with a 2-run home run among his 3 hits. That capped a 4-run second. The Rays started their way back when Corey Dickerson homered in the 4th and then added 2 more runs in the 5th. So as we go to the bottom half of the 7th, the Rays down by 1 run. And they'll make a pitching change.
And he seems very excited about it too.
Happy to see Erasmo Ramirez in the game, apparently.
Erasmo, yeah, Jake Odorizzi. I'll tell you, he had that rough 2nd inning against this Oriole lineup, culminating right there, the 2-run homer by Manny Machado to give them a 4-0 lead. But guess what? He settled down and did a heck of a job after that, giving his offense a chance to get back into this ball game. Made pitches, made a little bit of an adjustment in his approach with these hitters, and then just, well, started moving the ball around the zone. That's what he does. And able to get out of there with 6 innings, keep it at 4 runs. The Rays have scored 3 since then, and now down just a run, and Erasmo Ramirez will take over for Jake.
He'll face Jonathan Scope to open the bottom of the 7th. Ramirez getting a victory Wednesday in the Blue Jay series. First pitch, and that's going to take care of Scope on a ground ball. Forsythe to Pierce. Our Toyota inside look will take a look inside the bullpen, and it has been very good this year when it comes to ERA, just 1.08.
14 appearances, now 15 with Erasmo Ramirez, but 13 of the 14 have been scoreless, and that was one of the big questions coming into the season with Brad Boxberger down. How will the bullpen fare? Who will step up? And seemingly it's everybody right now.
Ramirez facing Hyun-Soo Kim. Kim had an infield hit in the 2nd, his first in the major leagues. Joining the Orioles from Korea. She's down, and it's 2-1. Right side. Miller falls down and cannot get rid of the ball. The Rays had the shift on, and Miller got over there and found himself in an awkward position.
I have to take a closer look at that because this is pretty textbook here with the shift. We're moving to his left. He's got it. Well, there it was. He just started to stumble. And once he stumbled, lost balance, couldn't make the throw right here. And then trying to get that ball out of the glove, wasn't able to get it out clean. An unfortunate break there for the Rays.
Owen Reimold will now run for Kim. There goes as an infield hit. Joey Rickard 1 for 2 with a run batted in on a fly ball today. Singled his first time, and there's a strike. Ground ball, Miller out at 2nd. Forsythe throw to first out there. 6-4-3, so a ground ball thrown by Ramirez to start the double play. And we're headed into the 8th inning. No runs. Attain an infield hit. No on Fox Sports Sun is brought to you by Ram Trucks, Guts, Glory, Ram. By Checkers, fast foodies know the deal. And by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. In Baltimore, the Rays and the Baltimore Orioles wrapping up their series. Darren O'Day is the new pitcher now for Baltimore, their 4th of the day.
Well, Darren O'Day off to a very strong start. 6 strikeouts, no walks, and 3 innings of work. And you know, he's another guy that's going to, similar to Michael Givens, pitching out from the side, maybe a little submarine style, sinker slider.
Nolan Reimold takes over in left after running for Kim. Corey Dickerson will lead off against O'Day. All the way to the backstop.
Matt Wieters did not even go for that. You talk about just wrapping a breaking ball right around a hitter. Didn't even reach. Forget it. Nobody's on base, and I'm not catching that anyway.
Dickerson singled in the 2nd, homered in the 4th, and reached on catcher's interference in the 5th, which gave him the base, and he will not be counted for an at-bat, even though the error was charged. 1-1 the count. Steve Pearce will be next. And then Brad Miller. It's popped up a foul ball back. It's 1-2. Well, the 33-year-old right-hander Darren O'Day. An all-star last year. Sinks the fastball, sweeps the slider, and gives you an unconventional delivery.
I'm going to try to pick up that release point quick. I'm going to see him for one at bat, and so you've got to pinpoint it, lock in on it, and try to do some damage. A lot easier said than done, because he's been very effective for Buck Showalter coming out of that pen.
Battling it back.
I mean, look at those numbers.
Yeah, they just keep getting better and better, and so they signed him for 4 more years and $31 million.
And the consistency, 68, 68, 68, and you're right, that ERA just continues to, can't go much lower.
Dickerson is out on strikes on that pitch up. So he strikes him out. 1 away, and we'll check in with Todd Callis.
Dwayne, coming up on Tuesday with the Cleveland Indians in town, it'll be our Rays Live pregame show driven by our Gulf Coast Honda dealers beginning at 6:30. I'll be joined by Orestes Destrada. We'll hear from Matt Moore during the course of the show. And guys, the Cleveland Indians are probably the happiest team that has ever entered Tropicana Field because their week went like this. Postponed Monday. Home opener Tuesday, coldest in team history, 34 degrees. Rain delay Wednesday, postponed Thursday, snow Friday, 32 degrees Saturday, and today heavy snow, 3rd postponement of the week. How could you live there in the winter, guys?
Easy.
Yeah, wow. Well, you know.
The winter wasn't like that. We didn't have snow this winter. At Thanksgiving and Christmas, it was 50, 60 degrees.
Yeah, waited for baseball season for winter to fall.
Oh, opening day? Okay, now this is what we have.
You know, that's pretty amazing. As he said, 34 was the lowest, the coldest they played in.
And
the Rays have played in games colder than that.
That's right.
That game at Boston at Fenway, it was 33 degrees in that game.
Well, then you factor in the wind chill, and you're in the 20s. They factored in the wind chill.
Came prepared.
Picnic blanket right over the head.
Pop fly, short right. Scope out, and coming in from right, Trumbo makes the catch.
Mark Trumbo getting indoctrinated out into right field here at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. We saw him misplay a ball off the wall in the opening game of this series, but he made a nice, nifty basket catch on this ball that looked like it had a chance to drop in there. Had to come a long way. It's a nice play.
Now the Rays unable to get anything going here through the first 2 men up against Darren O'Day. And now it's Brad Miller. Upstairs. And really, it seems for O'Day, it didn't make a lot of difference whether he was facing a right-handed hitter or a left-handed hitter. Lefties hit a little over 200 against him last year. Righties a little over 190.
Well, that's why Buck Showalter can bring him in any circumstance. Late inning guy, can close if need be. You know, Zach Britton out there 2-3 days in a row. The thing that's tough about him is not only the arm angle, but the way that he can sink the fastball, slide the breaking ball, but then he can pitch up in the zone. He elevates very well. Not easy from his arm angle.
They're behind in the count, 1-2. Reached into fourth when he walked, hit the ball to the track in right field in the fifth, but still looking for that first hit of the year. Fouls it back. Vance Worley for 4 2/3. Brad Brock for an inning and a third. Gibbons an inning, and now O'Day 2/3 into the eighth. Popped up left side. Machado toward the stands, no room. And Miller has another shot.
Now he keeps trying to climb the ladder on Brad Miller. That pitch was way up above the zone, able to foul it off. Let's see if he changes tactics now. You see where that is on Fox Tracks. That was as high as the first pitch. That's what he does. He changes your eye level.
Fights it off, fouls it off. The Rays got a run in the fourth and 2 in the fifth to make it a 1-run game. And really no threats since then. Another foul ball. They tied it, or got to within a run on a base hit by Steve Pearce in the fifth. And since then, the only base runner they've had was the Forsythe walk, and he was caught trying to steal. Miller swings, hits it high to right. That ball's got a chance. Going to be high off the scoreboard. Miller on his way to second, and he'll stop there with a double. Miller's first hit, boy, he earned that one, battling against Darren O'Day, and came close to tying this game with a double high off the right field scoreboard.
It was a tremendous at-bat. Extended the at-bat with fouling off some very tough pitches by Darren O'Day, and then gives this one a ride. This ball coming in, didn't get up where he wanted it. And Brad Miller, boy, he caught it flush and just missed tying this ball game up. Top of that wall out there. Boy, a few more feet.
He hit it over Oakland. You'd think that would be far enough. Just off the top of the wall out there. And here's Steven Souza Jr. One ball, no strikes.
I like where Steven Souza Jr. is right now as a hitter, the way that we've seen him use the other side of the field, hitting the ball into right, and that's what you have to do. You've got to be able to stay in there against this arm angle from Darren O'Day, and right now it had that up the middle approach.
One. Souza singled in the fourth, 1 for 3.
I think Steven Souza right here going for it. You can see pulling off that one just a little bit as it swept way off the plate. Readjust.
0 for 4 in his career against O'Day. Two balls and a strike. Kiermaier on deck. It's wide. So after chasing that first pitch, settled in there and is ahead in the count, 3-1. Turn, but nobody back there on the bag. And Miller ducks back in.
Boy, unorthodox, trying to make that spin move from that arm angle. And what you have to do, and if you catch Brad Miller, another base runner out there napping, you will get him. It's a good heads-up play getting back.
Ball 4, stayed away from Souza and walks him. 2 men on with 2 men out. Duke Energy proud to support the Rays and Tampa Bay area veterans. For every game the Rays win, Duke Energy donates $1,000 to area agencies working to support our veterans. Duke Energy, powering Florida with more than just energy. They're supporting our veterans and other local charities as well. Rays up. Well, with 2 men out, the Rays have put 2 men on the Brad Miller double and the Steven Souza Jr. walk, getting Kevin Kiermaier to the plate. Kevin 0 for 3 today. And you can see his career numbers against O'Day. 2 for 4. That's a ball.
Close.
Well, that's quite a take by Kiermaier.
You want to see that ball up a little more than that. Obviously, O'Day works down at the bottom of the zone, also elevates, but yeah, for a first pitch, you want your pitch.
Ball 2. Bundy, the right-hander, McFarland, the lefty. So McFarland in the game on Friday. Ball 3.
boy, a couple of really nice at-bats here, back to back to back. You think about Brad Miller, the pitches that he fouled off just to get that one mistake. The adjustment Steven Souza Jr. made, and now Kevin Kiermaier being picky, and he's up 3-0.
Double walk, and now Kiermaier ahead in the count, 3-0. Strike is called.
That's the 3-0 strike. The 3-0 strike that you just throw out into no man's land, and you've been getting a strike all afternoon. This one's not even, I don't think, at any point on the plate.
So it goes to 3-1. Kiermaier, he did go, says Escobar. Now the count is full. The runners will be off. So hit the gap now. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Miller at second, Souza Jr. at first. 2 outs, a 1-run ball game in the 8th. And ball 4 inside. The bases are going to be loaded.
Strike zone has been interesting throughout the day, especially away to the lefties. As he got that strike to get back to the count 3-1, you see where Fox Tracks had that pitch, tried to close him out in. Very, very close. The call goes the Rays' way, and now the bases are juiced. This is close, and Dana DeMuth standing right over top of that pitch. From that arm angle to that spot, hard to believe that didn't cross the plate. But the Rays will take it.
So the bases are loaded with 2 gone, and Hank Conger will pinch hit now for Kurt Casale against O'Day. So Conger 1 for 2 in his career against O'Day. Sally had not faced him before. So Conger called upon to pinch hit. Pitch is high. All of this coming with 2 outs. 1-0 the count on the Rays pinch hitter. Day throws him a strike. 1-1. O'Day struck out Dickerson. Got Pierce on the fly ball to right. Then Miller battled for the double. Back-to-back walks to Souza Jr. and Kiermaier to load the bases. Conger shoots it foul. Out of play.
Here's where you got to be careful of the elevated heater. He likes to do that to the left-handed hitters, especially when he's ahead in the count. Get up for 2 strikes and then tries to elevate that fastball up close to the eyes and get you to chase.
And it's fouled back on the pitch up.
That's his game plan. We saw him do it to Brad Miller, where you get to 2 strikes against those guys. You climb the ladder. Corey Dickerson, so tough to lay off of. That ball's up close to your eyes. You see the entire baseball. It looks big. You know that he's not going to overpower you with velocity, and so you cut loose with the swing. oftentimes you come up empty.
Another 1-2 pitch. Conger out on strikes. The Rays come up short here in the 8th. They load the bases, but cannot score, and they leave 3 men on base in the 8th. Here's the strikeout pitch. It's still 4-3 Baltimore. If you can't watch the games on TV, you can now stream games live on your mobile device. Just go to your app store, download the free Fox Sports Go app, log in, and stream the Rays wherever you go. Now 48 degrees here on a sunny day in Baltimore as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Manny Machado facing Erasmo Ramirez. Takes the pitch down. Machado 3 for 3 today. The only time they got him was when he singled in the 5th, and Odorizzi picked him off. 1-1.
Unconventional, yes, but he was retired eventually.
Well, it's been a tough run for Odorizzi against Machado, who was 7 of his last 8 against Odorizzi. So he picked him off. Into center field, cutting across. Kiermaier can't get there. Going to go to the wall. And Machado is aboard with his 4th hit of the day. 4 for 4. This one good for 2 bases.
Well, you could hear that. I mean, you could hear that contact, how loud that was. And Manny Machado, boy, oh boy, what a day. That ball was blistered. And anytime you're able to shoot a ball like this and get it by Kevin Kiermaier, you know you had to tag.
Chris Davis says it's been a tough matchup for Ramirez. Davis pops it foul, headed to the stands, back a third. Longoria, the only defender over there, and runs out of room. Davis 6 of 17 with a couple of home runs in his career against Erasmo. So a challenge here in the bottom of the 8th for the Rays, trying to hold Baltimore in what is right now a 1-run ball game. Ground ball right side. This will advance Machado. Davis out unassisted. Pierce handling it at first base.
Well, that's going to bring out Jim Hickey as they're going to talk strategy here in this situation. Runner on third, less than 2 outs.
Well, Mark Trumbo will be the hitter. Reminder coming up on Rays Live, the postgame presented by Checkers, who will anchor the coverage from Camden Yards. Kevin Cash will talk with the press following the game. We'll have that press conference. Todd Callis will provide interviews from the clubhouse. Well, Trumbo 2 for 3, and then Wieters behind him. Rays pull the infield up here. Trumbo 1 of 12 in his career against Ramirez. And fouls it back, strike 1. And Conger, after pitch hitting, doing the catching.
That one right in the mask. Make sure that jaw's okay. And Trumbo, he wants to get a ball that's elevated. Had a chance right there with the breaking ball to try to get something into the outfield over the head of these infielders. And of course, Erasmo Ramirez, you either want that ball on the ground or Mark Trumbo. If you can get him to 2 strikes, he's a strikeout target.
One and one. Ramirez in relief of Odorizzi. Pitched the front 6. 1 and 2. Rays due to have the top of the order in the 9th. Orioles threatening to add to their lead. There's a chop out to second. Runner must remain at third. Machado stays there. Trumbo chops out Forsythe to Pierce.
Well, you could not have worked that out any better. Going for the strikeout right there. Erasmo Ramirez going way up in the zone with the fastball. Mark Trumbo, he's just trying to put the ball in play and drive in a run, and he just chops it right to Logan Forsythe. And the Rays 1 out away from getting out of this mess.
Matt Wieters due up. Conger and Ramirez talking it over on the mound. Two hits in 13 at-bats against Ramirez. One of those a home run. And Wieters 0 for 3 today. Looks at this one wide. A ball, no strikes. One had him out in front. We'll be with you Tuesday home when the Rays entertain the Cleveland Indians. Corey Kluber and Matt Moore. And we'll begin our coverage at 6:30 right here on Fox Sports Sun. Blocked and now down the line, and the run will score. Boy, some heads-up base running by Machado, who comes back to tag the plate. It appeared that Conger might keep that ball in play close enough to it. But Machado was coming down that line. No stopping him, and now it's 5-3.
Well, the Orioles anxious to try to extend this league. And they get a ball in the dirt here that's going to bound away from Hank Conger. And you can see, as soon as that ball went away, Manny Machado, there was absolutely no hesitation at all. And you see up there at the plate. Watch as Manny comes in, going to try to avoid what he thinks may be a tag into the home plate umpire Dana DeMuth, and then Matt Wieters telling him to go back there and make sure he touches home plate to confirm that run. Unfortunate for the Rays because they were close to wiggling out of that situation.
Yeah, and that makes it difficult with Zach Britton loosening in the bullpen.
You leave one pitch up in the zone, somebody runs into it, you tie the ball game. Now you're going to have to build an inning off of him, and you're right, that is not an easy task. But first things first, you got to keep this lead at 2.
And a foul ball, just a little bit of that one. And boy, Machado, you've got to give him a lot of credit. That was heads up, busting it for the plate, base running.
Dwayne, how often do we talk about his baseball IQ?
Yeah.
For being such a young player, he's got such a feel for the game and the situation. And that's a risk right there worth taking. And yeah, it pays off.
Ground ball toward the middle. To first in time. Longoria takes care of that. So we go to the 9th. The Rays will have the top of the order. They need 2 to keep it going. Ninth inning coming up. Manny Machado racing home with an extra run in the bottom of the 8th. And Zach Britton takes over here in the 9th inning with the Rays down by 2. It's a 5-3 ball game. Logan Forsythe to lead off against the lefty. Down and in, 1 ball, no strikes. One and one. Brandon Geyer has moved on deck to hit for Logan Morrison with the left-hander Britton out there. Over foul. 1 and 2.
Boy, the last 2 years for the Orioles, 73 out of 81 in the save department, and he does it primarily with a mid-90s sinking fastball, which is very rare to have that kind of velocity and that kind of movement.
And on this Rays club, Geyer's the one guy who has had some success against Britton. You'd love to see Forsythe somehow work his way aboard because Geyer is 3 for 10 with 2 of those hits home runs off Britton. So Forsythe trying to get on base any way he can here. Fly ball into right, and it's going to carry and be caught by Trumbo.
You can't do much more than that. You're thinking solid contact off of Zach Britton. And Logan Forsythe, quick hands. We talked about it all last season when he had a real breakout year where he shot that ball into right field, but it was right at Trumbo.
Well, when you look at the host of hitters the Rays have in their matchups against Britton, you have Geyer, as we mentioned, 3 for 10 with 2 home runs, and Longoria 4 for 17 is next. So if you've got a chance, these are the 2 guys I guess you want up there. The pitch is a strike. I mean, Britton has been so good. Upstairs, 1-1. 2 outs. The Rays loaded the bases against Darren O'Day, but he got Conger on strikes to end that threat. Rays have left 9 men on base today. 2-1.
Brandon almost, he's so adept at getting hit, and that was a pitch that was close to him that almost caught that front leg.
Foul ball takes the count to 2-2. Britton, the 5th pitcher for Baltimore. Brock would be the pitcher of record. Vince Worley worked the first 4 2/3. Out of play, holding the count at 2-2. Disappeared on him.
When do you ever see a 97-mile-an-hour fastball that has that kind of sinking action to it? Usually when the velocity is that high, you throw through the sink. But this has that late finish and takes it right down on top of the plate, well below the zone. That's filthy.
So 2 outs. They still need a base runner to have a shot, down by 2. Here's Evan Longoria. Strike 1.
I mean, that's just, that pitch is not fair. You think that that's a fastball at the bottom of the zone, and you're going to go down there and get extension and drive it, and then it's just not there at that velocity.
He'll just drop one of those on you once in a while, but with that fastball being the way it is, it's a hybrid. It's a sinker, slider, all in one, and a fastball.
Should be a felony.
Ground ball to third. Machado, who had a great day today, takes care of that, throws out Longoria. The Rays are 3 up and 3 down in the 9th inning. So it's a 5-3 final here in Baltimore. Brock will get the win. Odorizzi will take the loss. A save for Britton. Took 2 hours and 53 minutes to play this game, and Baltimore comes away with 2 wins over the Rays, 6-1 and 5-3. And now the Rays will head home to open a homestand against Cleveland and the Chicago White Sox. We'll be with you at 6:30 Tuesday with our coverage. For Brian Anderson, Todd Callis, and the rest of our crew, Dwayne Staff, hope you've enjoyed the telecast if not the outcome. See you on Rays Live, the postgame.